what we're going to do next is start preparing the blank for application of the Forgrips. But what I'm going to do before we do that, I actually take another step in preparation. Again, I do a lot of the things that I do because I've made mistakes in the past, and you learn from them and you adapt to them. So what I do on every Forgrip that I put on, and this will stay on until the very end of the rod, is put a layer of low-tack adhesive tape, or excuse me, low-tack trim tape. You can get that at any hardware store, Lowe's, wherever you buy your painting supplies. And what this does is it actually protects the foregrip, keeps it nice and clean, and that way when I'm building the rods, because this stuff's going to get messy. For the guys who haven't done this before that are thinking about doing it, take your worst clothes, take paint clothes, take whatever you can, and wear those, because you will come out with adhesive or epoxy somewhere on you, and then you're going to end up touching your clothes, so don't wear your Sunday best when you're doing this. One thing I do when I'm putting the tape onto the Forgrips is put it loose. I don't put it real tight, just put it loose, put it tight enough so that it sticks on there. But when we're putting these Forgrips down over the rod, it's actually going to swell a little bit and move out. So you want to have a little give inside of that tape. I've even gone as far as just taking a piece of plastic and putting the plastic over it and then just taping the ends so that that plastic kept the foregrip nice. So that's another option as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get started in building this rod. And the first thing that we do is I use Rod Bond. Rod Bond is made by a company called U40, and any of your rod component suppliers will have it. I stock it here with all of the components that I sell. So it's just it's a two-part cement that is used. It's actually drillable and tappable. So once it dries, I mean, you can do anything to this stuff and it will not let loose. So I pretty much eye it up, get about a 50-50 mixture in there, and then start mixing it up. This becomes very pliable and malleable and slippery once you do get it mixed. So application to the rods, especially for these Forgrips, is very easy. I'll show you a trick that I use to help with those stubborn Forgrips in case you get a Forgrip that just will not go onto the rod. It doesn't get ringed out properly or whatever. For whatever reason, it doesn't go down onto the rod. I'll show you a trick that I do on one of these that will help you out. So we got our epoxy mixed, and we got that into a nice consistency. And you can see, I mean, it's looser than 5-minute epoxy, but it will dry very hard, and it takes about 12 to 14 hours to dry. So what I do next is I figure out the size of the unibutt that I'm putting these rods onto. So I actually take the unibutt, put it over top of the rod, and then make a mark. And that mark will tell me how far down I need to have the unibutt go in order to be properly installed on the rod. So what I do is put that on. Yeah, see, I used a UB4 by accident there. So now I'm down to the right size. It goes a little bit further down the blank. The UB2s are a little bit smaller. So what I do then is lay this up next to the rod and then mark the top. So this portion of the rod blank right here is where your foregrip is going to go, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see that. So you can see right here is where the foregrip is going to go. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take a rat tail file and start scarring all of this up. I don't want it smooth and glossy. I want it to have a nice, rough appearance, so that what I can do here is give lots of nooks and crannies for the rod grip to get into and to bite into with the finish. So I take that foregrip area, scar it up pretty good. I don't go all the way up to the very top. I'll go a little bit on a couple, but For the most part, I don't do it. I don't want to mess up the blank too much, and God forbid I actually do it and have some that stays exposed. So now that we've gotten that portion done, I'm going to come down here to the end and do the same thing. This is the area that's going to go into the unibutt, and when the rod's finished, it's going to give me nice adhesion, and it's going to give me lots of nooks and crannies for that finish to go in, or for that epoxy to go into, so that the rod will actually be cemented and married together with the unibutt ferrule. So once I get that all good to go, I'm going to do that to all 5 of these rods, and then I'll come back to you real quick and we'll get going on it.